All right, hey guys, welcome to the video. If you're new here, my name's Curtis, and I'm super excited today because we're going to be talking about the newest release from the house of Les Indemodables called Immortelle Solaire. So if you're curious to hear my first impressions about this fragrance, then let's go. So yeah, I ordered this fragrance from the official site of Les Indemodables, and it took a couple weeks for it to get to me here in Japan, but when it did, it arrived in a box. Obviously, I opened the box and it came in a little package like this. And I chose to order the 7 ml travel spray, just because I'm not sure if I'm going to like this scent or not. So I figured that was the safest bet. And if I do really enjoy this fragrance and I figure that it's full bottle worthy, then at that time I'll order a full bottle. But the 7 ml travel spray will work perfect for now. It gives me time to get to really know this fragrance before I decide if I want to purchase a full bottle or not. So yeah, so in this bag that they send you, this little travel bag, there's a nice little card here, and on the back it has a picture of Immortelle Solaire, and it kind of gives like some information in here about Antoine Lee, and some other things about like the ingredients and oil concentrations and things like that inside. Then you get like another kind of like little thank you card here, and then finally I have my little 7 ml official travel spray here, Immortelle Solaire. So yeah, I'm super excited to try this. And I actually got this last night, so it came in, I finally got it in last night, and so I was really itching to just spray it on my skin and go to bed, but I held off because I want this to be, the first impression that I'm giving here. So let's give this one a spray. And I want to say I'm not so experienced with the note of Immortelle, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pick that out in this fragrance or not, but we will see. It smells pretty interesting from the bottle here though. I'm going to go ahead and put this on my right hand. Give it 2 sprays there. All right, so, okay. From the get-go, I'm getting something a bit earthy, almost kind of hay-like. It smells kind of like hay. Like kind of green, but not necessarily grass green. Almost, I guess it's more kind of like hay. It's kind of like that yellow color, so I guess it kind of matches the color of this juice for sure. I'm also getting some very light kind of tones of like almost like coffee. It almost kind of smells like coffee in a way. Something slightly bitter in here. Bitter, but it has kind of a sweetness to it as well. It even smells like kind of slightly dusty in a way, if that makes any sense. But there's something underneath that kind of smells a little bit like tobacco in a way. These 2 fragrances are not the same, but there's something about this which kind of reminds me a little bit of, Un Air d'Apogée by Maison Violet. Not the same, but I think it could be, Un Air d'Apogée also contains that hay and tobacco, and that could be the similarity that I'm getting here, but in the air, it smells a little different from back here. if I'm getting wafts from back here versus if I'm smelling it up close. From back here, I'm definitely getting kind of like a slight, like almost like very lightly carameled kind of coffee-like sweetness to this. I mean, it's not overly sweet or anything, but that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Up close, I'm definitely getting more of that kind of hay-like smell. But I think, like, in terms of, like, if I look at this, if I look at this picture right here, so I'm not sure if you can see that there. I think in my mind, I kind of saw this fragrance pushing in a different direction. Because off this first impression, I wouldn't necessarily consider this fragrance a summer fragrance, like that high heat. Now, it could work, I guess, depending on the type of heat that you're in. But for me, like, I live in an extremely humid climate here in Japan. I don't think I could pull this one off right now, based off what I'm getting right now. I'm curious to see how this one dries down, though. All right, so I'm gonna read you guys the write-up for Immortelle Solaire. So here we go. It says, the essential oil and absolute of everlasting, or helichrysum, butchering the pronunciation, used by perfumers today are difficult ingredients to work with and dose, reproducing the plant's olfactory complexity only very imperfectly with harsh and dry facets that are not very aesthetic. After 18 months of research, the extract developed by Latier Francis de Maitre, I'm butchering the French pronunciation, represents a true innovation, finally unveiling the complete olfactory profile of this plant, faithful to what one can smell in the field. Okay, so I guess that kind of represents what that hay-like kind of smell I'm getting. It kind of gives me that image of like an open kind of field. So Antoine Lee, master perfumer, was thus able to integrate this unique and exclusive new ingredient in overdose in the latest opus from Les Indemodables, Immortelle Solaire. This highly distinctive and original creation is thus a play of light and materials it showcases and the full complexity of the ultrasonic full spectrum. Everlasting, combining an iodized and luminous accord with facets of licorice and candied fruits, in subtle balance and darker notes of spices, wood, and slightly smoky leather. It evokes a summery atmosphere, bathed in sunlight at the precise moment when the midday sun scorches the limestone rock of the provincial landscape in south of France. Okay, so sorry, I probably really butchered some of that pronunciation, but so they're going for a summery vibe. Interesting. So it said this has like facets of licorice and candied fruits. I don't necessarily know if I'm picking up the licorice, but I think I'm definitely picking up a subtle sweetness, and that could be from the licorice, but that could also be from the candied fruits in here. But it definitely has a spice to it, like a spicy kick to this. And like I said, I'm not so experienced with the note of Immortelle, so I can't like 100% say whether I'm personally picking that up. You know, maybe, you know, there are other reviewers out there who are more experienced with that note of Immortelle, and they might say, wow, it's really in here. But for me, I think my nose isn't necessarily accustomed to that note yet, so I'm not 100% sure, you know, if I'm picking that up in here or not. But it definitely has like a unique smell to it, that is for sure. It is projecting off quite nicely, so to be honest, I don't even need to bring this to my face. I mean, I can smell it fine from here, especially when I move my hand like this. But like I said, it's a different smell out here than it is close to my hand. I do actually enjoy this scent profile, that's for sure. And it does give me kind of, I can understand what they're saying. It does give me kind of the vibe of being outside in the sun, and definitely kind of out in nature in a way. But, you know, I wouldn't necessarily say for me personally, it gives me like summertime vibes. It gives me more kind of springtime vibes when it's still a little bit cool, but it's sunny, and you know, it's the skies are kind of clear, and it kind of reminds me of like a green, being out in nature and you're just kind of surrounded by greens, or you know, in kind of like an open kind of grass field. But I get a pretty strong note of like coffee for some reason, and that might be the combination of a few different notes coming together to create that. I don't know if that was done intentionally, or it could just be, or that could actually be like the licorice. I'm not sure, to be honest. Interesting. I mean, there is kind of like a very kind of deep underlying freshness to this as well. But I do enjoy this. It is interesting. You know, I don't know if it's full bottle worthy for me at this point, to be honest, but you know, I am really interested to spend more time with this fragrance. This is definitely quality craftsmanship for sure, and I would expect nothing less from Antoine Lee. He just does masterful work, and I'm a huge fan of his. And yeah, just of this brand in general, I'm a huge fan. I do have 2 other fragrances from them. I have Rose de Jamal, and I also have Fougère Emeraude, which are both stunning. So yeah, I am going to be spending more time with this fragrance. It definitely smells good. This is very pleasant for me. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, those are my first impressions. Yeah, we'll see kind of how this scent develops, and we'll see kind of if my feelings change about this and if this is actually going to be full bottle worthy for me or not. But in my opinion, you know, if you are a fan of this house, or if you're a fan of Antoine Lee, this is definitely worth a sample, and then you can kind of, you know, make your own decision for yourself if this is full bottle worthy. But you know, Les Indemodables is a phenomenal house. They do source like very high quality ingredients. So yeah, you should definitely check them out if you're not familiar with the house. But I will report back to you guys in a later video. And yeah, we'll see if this is full bottle worthy for me or not. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for you for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content, and let me know down in the comments section, are you a fan of the House of Les Indemodables, and have you tried this new fragrance, Immortelle Solaire? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Well, I hope you guys are staying healthy and well, and I'll see you in the next video.